So we've created a group of 12 international peers that are regions that are not dissimilar to Ontario, industrialized, populous, and there are these 12 around the world that we found that are similar to us. Now, what you'll notice is you won't see the area around London or the region around Paris, for example. Those are just like mega cities, and comparing ourselves to just a city region doesn't make a lot of sense. So these are actually regions that are similar to Ontario. And against those, Ontario does quite well. You can see who's the big winner is Germany, which has got 3 extraordinarily prosperous regions in terms of this, one Italian region. But we do well. We're above the median in this ranking. So that's good. We can say around the world, Ontario is one of the most prosperous places. The U.S. comparison, we started out doing this 11 years. We picked all the U.S. states that were half our size or bigger, about 6 million. So Indiana and Massachusetts at the low end, and California, which is bigger than Canada, on or about the same size as Canada on the high end. Actually, there's a couple of states that have gotten bigger since, but we've just stuck with this for consistency. So these are the 15 North American peers, 14 states and 1 province. And there is where we don't do quite as well. In fact, we have lagged near the bottom of this, 14th. We do beat Michigan, and we do beat Quebec, but we're considerably below the median and way, way, way below the leading peer jurisdictions in the U.S. And if you look at that over time, what I'd argue is it's not natural. It's not that this has to be, because if you go all the way back to 1981, a mere 30 years ago, because we're showing the 2011 numbers. So over that 30-year sequence, we were right at the median. A mere 30 years ago. 1 generation ago, we were at the median. And as you can see, we've fallen behind by a considerable amount. And you can see when we fell behind, right? We fell behind right here when we went into this recession, and we lost track. So you can see during the 80s, we kept pretty close to our peers. And then in 1991, it opened up. It opened up further, so that by 10 years later, we were up at 8,500 below the median. We've crept back somewhat, but now we've been stably at about 7,500 less. And of course, this is economist speak, right? What the heck does $7,500 in GDP per capita mean? What it means is about a little over $12,000 in after-tax disposable income for an average family in Ontario. That's $1,000 a month that every Ontario family on average would have more to spend. So it's a big number. It's also a big number in that it would result in, if we were back to where we were in 81 in terms of being equal to the median, we'd have about $35 billion a year more tax revenues to spend. $35 billion with the same tax structure. Right? So whenever we think of it's hard to afford what we want in education, it's hard to afford what we want in healthcare and the like, there's a reason. There's a reason why it feels like it's really hard to afford and we have to run deficits. It's because we've allowed this gap to take shape, and that's stealing $35 billion of tax revenues out of our pockets, if you will, every year, out of our fiscal capacity every year. So it matters.